3. That's how many business days some states give you to file your LLC annual report before it's too late. 2. That's how many years it took me to figure out all the ins and outs of these reports when I started my business. And 1. That's how many videos you need to watch to become an expert on LLC annual reports. In the next few minutes, we're counting down everything you need to know about LLC annual reports, answering all of your questions. Do all states require an LLC to file an annual report? Well, I've got you covered. And to help you get started, I've put together a free LLC guide that you can download now at llcblueprint.com/free guide. Plus, if you're ready to set up your LLC, I highly recommend Northwest Registered Agents. They'll handle everything for you for just $39. And for your convenience, I put all the links down in the description of this video. So go ahead and check them out. Now, before we move on, please know that I earn a small commission if you choose to shop through my links. This doesn't cost you anything extra, and it helps me support my channel. And with that in mind, let's get started. All right, so you've taken the plunge and started your LLC. Congratulations. But now you're hearing about annual reports and you're probably thinking, wait, what's the deal with these things? Don't worry, I've been there too, and I'm here to break it down for you. Let's start with the basics. An annual report is essentially a yearly check-in with your states. It's like a quick update on your business, letting the state know you're still up and running. But here's where it gets a little bit tricky. Not every state wants this check-in. Some states are super strict about it, while others are pretty laid back. When I first started my business, I was totally confused about whether I needed to file an annual report. I spent hours researching, trying to figure out if my state required one, and if so, what information I needed to include. It was a real headache, but I learned a lot in the process. So let's look at a few examples to give you an idea of how varied these requirements can be. Take California, for instance. They want a report every 2 years. It's called Form LLC 12, and it'll set you back $20. You will need to include your LLC's address, registered agent info, and details about your members or managers. Now hop over to Florida, and it's a whole different story. Florida LLCs need to file a report every single year. You've got to submit it by May 1st, and it comes with a heftier price tag of $138. But hey, at least you're getting money's worth with that annual check-in, right? Let's mix it up a little more. New York likes to keep things interesting with a biannual report. That means every 2 years, you'll need to file a report and shell out just $9. They're particularly interested in info about your LLC's members and managers. But what about states that don't require annual reports? Texas is one of them. But don't get too excited. They still want you to file an annual franchise tax report. It serves a similar purpose, so you're not completely off the hook. Delaware is another state that doesn't require an annual report for LLCs. Instead, they ask for an annual franchise tax payment. It's a bit like paying rent to keep your LLC in good standing with the state. Now, if you're in Montana, you're in luck. Montana LLCs don't need to file an annual report or pay an annual fee. But don't forget, you still need to keep a registered agent on file. It's like having a designated contact person for your business. Wyoming's another state that doesn't require annual reports for LLCs, but they do ask for a $50 annual fee to keep your business in good standing. It's like a yearly membership fee for the Wyoming LLC Club. And then there's Nevada. They don't require a full annual report, but they do want an annual list of managers and members. It'll cost you $150, but hey, at least you're not writing a full report, right? Now, you might be thinking, what's the big deal if I forget to file 1 year? Trust me, that's exactly what one of my friends thought before his business took an unexpected hit. Want to know how badly it can go wrong? Let me tell you a quick story about a buddy of mine who decided to skip his LLC's annual report 1 year. He figured it was just a formality, no big deal, right? Well, it did not go well for him at all. You see, my friend runs a small marketing agency and he was swamped with client work. When the deadline for his annual report rolled around, he thought, I'll just get to it next week. Next week turned into next month, and before he knew it, he was way past the due date. He didn't think much of it until he tried to sign a contract with a new client. And that's when he discovered his LLC had lost its good standing with the state. The client got cold feet and backed out of the deal. But that was just the beginning. He soon found out he couldn't secure a loan he needed for some new equipment. His business was basically in limbo until he sorted out the mess. So here's the thing. States take this stuff really seriously. They're not afraid to hit you where it hurts, your wallet. We're talking fines, penalties, and in some cases, they might even shut down your business. So you gotta follow the rules. I've seen fines ranging from a couple $100 to thousands of dollars. In California, for example, if you're late filing your LLC statement of incorporation, you're looking at a $250 penalty. And that's on top of the regular $20 filing fee. Florida's even tougher. They slap you with a $400 late fee if you miss the May 1st deadline for your annual report. But you see, it's not just about the money. Missing your annual report can have some serious consequences for your business operations. You might lose your ability to sue in state court, which could be a big problem if you ever need to enforce a contract. Some states might even revoke your LLC status altogether. Imagine waking up one day to find out your business doesn't legally exist anymore. Talk about a nightmare scenario. And here's something else to consider. These issues can snowball pretty quickly. Let's say you miss your filing deadline and your LLC loses its good standing. Now, you're scrambling to get back on track. But in the meantime, you might miss out on business opportunities. Potential partners or clients might see that you're not in good standing and decide to work with someone else instead. So, what happens if you don't file your LLC's annual report or miss the deadline? Well, it's not pretty. You're looking at financial penalties, potential loss of good standing, difficulty conducting business, and in extreme cases, the dissolution of your LLC. It's like basically trying to drive a car with a suspended license. You might get away with it for a while, but eventually it's going to catch up with you. All right, so we've seen how bad things can get. But here's the question. How do you actually file an annual report? Let me tell you the key steps. First, know your state's specific requirements as deadlines and fees vary. For instance, California requires a statement of information every 2 years, while Florida mandates an annual report by May 1st. You can find this info easily on your state's Secretary of State website. Most states now offer online filing, making the process quick and easy. You'll need basic info like your LLC's name, address, member details, and registered agent info. So let's break it down. Gather your info. Visit the state's website, find the report section, and follow instructions. Fill out the form, double check, and submit with the filing fee. And here's a pro tip. Set a reminder a month before the deadline. Also, be mindful of specific rules for foreign LLCs, like in New York, where they require a biannual statement. Don't worry, it gets easier with practice. And by the way, don't let all these details overwhelm you. Remember, millions of LLCs file these reports every year. If they can do it, so can you. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. Now, your annual report requires certain elements to be complete. But what exactly are those elements? Let's break down the checklist for your LLC's annual report. Your LLC's annual report serves as a business checkup for the states. To complete it, you'll need to provide several key details. First, you'll need your LLC's legal name and business address, ensuring that any changes like a move or a name update are reflected. Some states also require a brief description of your business activities, so be ready to give a simple overview of what your LLC does. You will also need to include the names and addresses of your LLC's members or managers, and in some cases, the ownership percentages of each member. And also don't forget to include information about your registered agents, as they are the official point of contact for receiving legal documents on behalf of your business. If you've changed registered agents, this is the place to update that information. Some states may ask for additional details, such as your principal office address if it differs from your business address, or information about your LLC's officers if applicable. It's helpful to gather all this information beforehand to make the filing process smoother. Lastly, keep in mind that much of the information you provide becomes part of the public record, so accuracy is important to avoid future complications. All right, so here's the bottom line. Keeping up with your annual report is way easier than dealing with the consequences of not filing. Trust me on this one. I've seen what happens when you let it slide, and it's not pretty. So here's what you need to do. Set those reminders to do your research and stay on top of your state's requirements. It might seem like a hassle now, but your future self will thank you for staying compliant and avoiding those nasty penalties. Now, if you want to start your LLC and get help with compliance and make this whole process even easier, I've got a great suggestion for you. Check out Northwest Registered Agents. They'll handle everything for you for just $39 and help you stay compliant. That's a great deal for you guys, and you'll find the link for it down in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.